G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft as we're casting matches from MLG's Game On. We're casting the games from day 2 of this series. We're currently casting the losers match between Neeb and Nony, so both these players duking it out for the opportunity to continue on to the round of 8. In the bottom left hand corner is our yellow Terran player, it is Neeb. In the top right hand corner of Yeonsu, it is our blue Protoss player Nony. Now, one of the first Terran players that we've seen thus far in the tournament. Currently Group A and B have been dominated by Protoss and Zerg players, but excited to see Neeb and see a little bit of a Terran action. So it's going to be a Terran versus Protoss, and we've had some quite exciting games on Yeonsu lately, so looking forward to some more excellent Terran versus Protoss goodness. I hope you guys are likewise excited. I know some of our Zerg fans out there probably rejoicing at the sheer quantity of Zerg games that have been cast in the last couple of days, but certainly excited to see how Neeb and Nony mix it up here. So the winner of this best of 3 series will have an opportunity to play State, who lost the winners match, and the winner of that coming game will be able to progress to the round of 8. So still a long road ahead, but an opportunity for either of these players to redeem themselves and continue on in the round of 8. So it looks like Neeb's going for a fairly standard opening, barracks and refinery, allowing him to build a Reaper or possibly a fast factory. They're really the main choices we see out of Terran nowadays. But particularly on Yeonsu, you tend to see the Reaper first. It's very easy to scout the opponent's base by utilising this ledge here. Makes it nice and easy for the Reaper to duck back and forward and move between the main base and the natural also. Looks like Nony's going for a conventional opening as well. We've got the assimilator and gateway just finishing up now, as well as the orbital command starting for Neeb. The Reaper is in fact on the way. The real question is what Neeb does from here. So Neeb's actually a fairly young Terran player. I think he's about 16 or 17 years old this year, and playing for Team Fnatic. So certainly some of the young talent on the Starcraft 2 scene, and excited to see him participate in this tournament. So we'll see just how he's able to perform. Looks like he's going for a fairly bold, going to be dropping a CC on the low ground. So that's a bit of a bold move. Not uncommon against Protoss, but particularly with the current trend of Protoss players, which is to pop out a Zealot and a Stalker or 2 Stalkers and get quite aggressive against Terran players. It's not as frequent to see the CC thrown down on the low ground. Certainly a lot of the top Protoss players tend to chrono boost out the first Stalker or 2, and indeed we can see Nony's adopting that sort of pattern. We'll see if Nony gets aggressive with this or whether this is purely defensive. Certainly the Reaper is going to keep Nony in his base for the time being. This CC almost halfway done. We're going to have a bunker coming out for defensive purposes, but one of the things Terran players have fallen into is this very gasless opening. Once they get their refinery or their reactor, they tend to focus on early marine production, and that makes the early Stalker or 2 very effective, particularly in sync with the mothership core. So we'll see if Nony decides to do that. We actually have a very fast robo out of Nony, so won't be surprised if we see some sort of warp prism play here, or in fact if we see some sort of immortal push. So particularly vulnerable in the early stages of the game when Terran players are relying on the bunkers. An immortal or 2 along with some force fields can make it quite easy to punch through the defensive lineup. But certainly this early robotics does leave Nony with a lot of choices. We do have Stimpack starting out now, nice and early. It should finish up around the 7-minute mark, actually 7.5-minute mark, and leave Neeb in a great position for some sort of early push should he so desire. We have 2 barracks in the reactor, so there's going to be quite a significant marine count, as you can see, particularly with this quick robotics facility. Is not a lot of units in play. Nony is going to see this robo already completed though, and is going to have an idea of some of the aggression that could come out of this. The fact that there's no other gateways though does severely limit Nony's choices more to a defensive style of play. We have the Reaper moving up through here. The Stalker's trying to force it back out. The Reaper, of course, trying to scout, find out where those other units are. We can see Neeb actually moving out with quite a lot of Marines now. If we check the unit counting station, actually up to 13 Marines already, and that number's going to continue to rise, whereas we only have 2 Stalkers. Once this stim pack finishes, it's quite easy for this Marine count to just stomp over the top of these 2 Stalkers. A quick stim and these Stalkers will find themselves in massive trouble. So as we can see, the Marines trying to get straight on top of the Stalkers here. Quick photon overcharge there is going to force these Marines away, but that will deplete the Mothership Core's energy somewhat. Going to be another 30 or so seconds before another one of those can be dropped, and that, believe it or not, that does actually thin out Nony's defensive options, particularly when Terran players tend to be pushing around the 10 or 11 minute mark with the starport and the medevac production. It's those early pushes that come out post stim pack, but before the Protoss player really has very many Colossi out. Fortunately for Nony, he has this quick robotics has meant that he's also got his robotics back, and he's actually got his first Colossus being chrono boost out very early, 8 minutes in production. So first Colossus going to be out at the 9 minute mark, and Nony's going to be in a great position to push here. We'll see if Nony can make this early Colossus play work. We did see a very similar strategy not too long ago, but just for the life of me trying to remember which game it was. It was very quick Colossus timing, and almost worked, but unfortunately the Terran player was able to buy just enough time to get his Vikings out. This puts a lot of pressure on the Terran player, this sort of Colossus timing. It literally forced them to say, do I want medevacs for the flexibility and the healing, or do I want Vikings to deal with the Colossus? And it's very difficult to make that choice. Certainly, regardless of which option you take, it does force you down an undesirable tech choice. Ideally, you'd have both, and that's the sort of emphasis that this sort of speed tech out of a Protoss forces a Terran player to make. Looks like Nony's has a second Colossus underway, but not relying on these. Actually dropping the Templar archives right behind this. Storm about halfway finished, and we could likely be seeing some High Templars out. Though there are these 2 medevacs that have loaded up and looking for a drop in the main, but it looks like Nony very aware of that. The observer hovering over the ramp here, keeping track of that, and nice scan from Neeb actually picks off the observer. That's going to make life much more difficult for Nony. Nony was enjoying the fact that that observer was trailing the medevacs. Those Marines and Marauders now free to move out or drop at will. We can see Nony moving a few of his High Templar into position. Suspicious that now that the observer's down, it could well make him more vulnerable to a drop. The Terran units, though, still camped out on the watchtower, just trying to keep line of sight up, while Neeb establishes his 3rd base. So 3rd orbital command now completed, and mining quite solidly. It's going to be quite a significant income advantage for our Terran player, moving up to the 1900 minerals a minute mark. It's going to be substantially more production capacity for Neeb. So we have 4 barracks now completed, 5th barrack, now completed. All of our usual upgrades are on the way, and Neeb's ready to just flood a solid series of bio units straight towards Nony's front door. Nony could well find himself under significant pressure moving forward into the middle stages of this game. Neeb with a few medevacs here, capacity to do a doom drop should he so desire, but Nony actually trying to establish his own 3rd base. This could be providential. It may actually allow Nony to spot what's going on. Looks like Neeb might just stim forward here and try and snipe this 3rd base. His Colossus doing a lot of damage though, not enough Vikings to really make it count. A Storm landing right on this group of Marines, going to clean those right up. A few Marines continuing to die to these Storms, dead on Storms from Nony. A few Forces trying to keep out the last of these Marauders. Both Colossi do go down to the Vikings, but unfortunately for Neeb, he's unable to snipe Nony's 3rd base. So nice hold there from Nony, just dead on Storms right on top of those Marines. Those High Templars doing a phenomenal amount of damage, so 4 kills. Actually have the Archon, it gets the combined kill count of both High Templars, so it has 10 kills. So 14 Marine kills from those Storms in this early stage of the game. Quite important, a lot of damage done there, and did allow Nony to hold it. Nexus did take some damage, but still standing, and is going to allow Nony to try and equalise the economic game at this stage. Extended Thermal Lance being chrono boost out, along with the +2 armor and +2 weapons following up. Still only a single forge for upgrades. It's going to keep things a little bit slow. We do have a Ghost Academy finished up now, and we will have the Mobius reactor, so a little bit more starting energy. Already got the Ghost cloaking, I would believe. No, it looks like it hasn't been picked up just yet, so still not researched, but the capacity to take that if needed. +2 weapons and armor on the way, so there's going to be a definite upgrade advantage. Looks like Neeb trying to put the pressure on from the low ground here, but exposing himself to storms like that, lots of damage on those Marines and Marauders. Zell's unfortunately taking a lot of damage here, but Neeb playing the elevator game with his medevacs. As these Zealots engage, they're going to take a lot of damage from the low grounds. Hard to tell who's coming out ahead here. We have both players taking significant damage here. Neeb continues this relentless pressure from the Marines. The Archon here very crucial for this defense. Splash damage going to rip through these Marines, but if Nony's not careful, the Archon will be sniped here. A few more Marines and Marauders moving up, but this Colossus should be able to put the final nail in Neeb's coffin and force him back away from this expansion. A lot of damage done though. We have 6,600 defense dealt to Nony. A lot of that done here at this expansion, keeping it safe, but at the cost of a lot of those gateway units. Neeb continuing to macro very heavily. Starting to produce a little bit of static defense. I like these choices. Going to protect himself against any sort of warp prism harass in his main base. That's quite crucial. A number of extra barracks have been thrown on, so we're actually up to 8 barracks. This is pretty much the magic number for Terran on 3 base. Will allow almost steady stream of reinforcements to flood their way across the map. We have Neeb trying to pick off a few observers, ensure that his units can move around safely, and this large doom drop move in, but fortunately spotted by the probe from Nony. And can Nony get in place in time, or is this doom drop going to flood into his main? There are some cannons here. I love the choice of these cannons. Though nice drop area from Neeb is going to allow these units to do massive damage. The Colossus here actually able to help clean this up a good deal, but these Marines and Marauders are loose in the main base, actually sniping a gateway here, and that's a nice choice. Forge going to slow down the rate of upgrades. There's no other forges on the field currently. High Templar archives also going down, meaning there'll be no more High Templar for the foreseeable future. This is a big move from Neeb. Power play in the main. The Colossus getting picked off. Poor positioning on those Colossus, unfortunately, and Nony's really left himself vulnerable here to further counterattacks from Neeb. He's lost a lot of his tech structure. Unfortunately, not sniping that Twilight Council would have been a big pickup. Killing the Blink would have ensured further drop play would have been quite successful, but Neeb already with another substantial force here, maxed out 200 supply. We have a massive Terran force that probably needs to consolidate just a little bit. We're split into 2 fairly large chunks here and here, but Nony seems oblivious to the damage he's taking. He's actually throwing down a 4th base towards Neeb. So if that's not a bold move, I don't know what is. But I really doubt Nony's ability to hold this. He is outnumbered militarily, and Neeb has the money composition to deal with these Colossus and Stalkers. Not that we have any extra Colossi on the field at the moment. We just have the 1, or actually 2 now that it's finished up. 7 more High Templars. So Templar Archives has been established again, which is will be a bit of relief for Nony as he tries to move forward. A big army here. The Vikings pushing forward and sniping that Colossus very quickly. A storm coming down on the Vikings, trying to keep these Colossus alive, but there's still sufficient Vikings here to do massive damage. The Colossus is going to go down before it can get any shots here on the main unit, and unfortunately the High Templars use most of their energy on the Vikings. This base almost going down. Massive amounts of storms on the Marines and Marauders, but they're running out of units. These High Templars are just moving straight through the Marine and Marauder firing squad. They have been annihilated. Nony's defense is being shattered here by this Terran sledgehammer. Neeb going to pick up for a massive doom drop, and I love the timing of this, cutting up towards the main. Oh no, actually going to be using this edge to his advantage. Zealot warp in, certainly not going to be helping him. Nice feedback on the medevacs, certainly going to slow things down just a little bit. But Neeb's production is looking relentless. We have 5 Marines, 5 Marauders at a time. These Marines and Marauders just being so cost effective with these medevacs being used to spot the high ground. If we check out the units also, we can see a significant differential between Nony and Neeb. And Nony GG's out of that game. So a great first game from Neeb, able to just part the defense. That one crucial drop into the main, poor position on the Colossus unfortunately allowed them to get picked off, and losing those tech structures just left Nony just a little bit vulnerable to that second push that followed it up. So great game from both these players. I feel that it seesawed back and forward quite a bit during that game, but Nony falling, and Neeb able to get the advantage. Will Nony claw his way back in game 2, or will Neeb take this series to all? Find out in the next game here on Aussie StarCraft.